Welcome to our pre-recorded Balancing Work and Family webinar. My name is Kelly Ravenscroft, and I'm one of the consultants with Coastline EAP. At Coastline EAP, we have found that work-life balance is something that we all want, but very few of us have been taught the skills or have the instinctual know-how to make this happen. The good news is that over the next 30 minutes, we will teach you these skills that are going to help you create more work-life balance. This webinar is set up to be interactive so that you can start creating your plan for balance. We have worksheets and exercises to help you get started. So please have a pen and paper ready so you can participate in these exercises. In today's world, we have many competing responsibilities, such as having a career, raising a family, maintaining a marriage or relationship, keeping up with the housework, or maybe even taking care of elderly parents. This places a lot of stress on individuals, families, and many different types of relationships. People who are out of balance with their work and private lives also experience more family conflicts. They have more problems in their personal relationships, as well as more problems with their physical health and mental well-being. And at work, individual performance can be affected by lack of creativity and innovation, which can affect overall productivity. As this slide indicates, work-life conflict is a serious issue, as 89% of Americans find work-life balance to be a problem, and 54% consider it a significant problem. So take a moment to reflect. Where do I fall? Am I with the 89% or am I with the 54%? Let's reflect a little further. On your worksheet or on a piece of paper, write down 3 ways in which being out of balance has negatively affected your life. Has it affected your relationships at home or at work? Or maybe it's affected your physical health or your emotional well-being. And when you're ready, move on to the second question. What are some of the ways in which you would benefit from a more balanced life? Maybe you would feel more connected with your spouse or able to spend more time with your children. Write down whatever comes to your mind. There are no wrong answers. If you need more time, you can pause this training to complete this exercise. Otherwise, let's begin to determine where you fall on the scale of a balanced life. Who are you more like? Are you more like employee number 1, who often feels stressed, tired, and overwhelmed, feels guilty about not spending enough time with family, can't remember the last time they ate a healthy meal, exercised, or had a good night's sleep, or hasn't been feeling well but has been too busy to go to a doctor's appointment or use their vacation time? Or are you more like employee number 2? Enjoys one-on-one time with their kids and partner, schedules time to meet a friend for a cup of coffee, went to a training to learn a new computer job skill, and they renew their energy by walking 10 minutes a day on their lunch break. In this webinar, we will be introducing concepts and practice that will help you find a more balanced approach to managing your work and life. We're going to assess how successful you are right now in balancing your work and personal life, clarify your priorities and set a plan to integrate them first into your daily life, identify barriers and limitations to achieving your work-life balance, and learn how to apply and integrate high-impact practices for creating balance. Let's take a moment and identify the new reality of work-life balance. It helps to think about work-life balance in terms of it being a process, not a single event. This is a journey, not a destination. Work-life balance is dynamic, meaning that there are many moving parts that are always in motion, and it's completely normal to adjust and reprioritize. For example, the work-life balance strategies that work in your 20s may no longer work for you in your late 30s or 40s. The strategies that work when you have younger children will probably not work when your children are in high school or college. Another example is technology. The internet, cell phones, emails, which make you available after business hours or on the weekends. In the short term, this can make you more productive, but it can also make you more likely to burn out. This is just one example of how your goals and struggles are constantly changing, so your approach to juggling it all needs to be just as dynamic. You can start the process of balancing your work and your life by managing and maximizing your personal resources. Time and energy are two of your most powerful personal resources. Time is a finite resource, meaning that there's only 24 hours in a day, and approximately a third of that time is spent sleeping, a third of that time is spent working, and a third of that time is for everything else. Energy is a renewable resource. It can be expanded, renewed, and used more efficiently. Humans have four types of energy: physical, emotional, mental, or passionate, meaning finding a deep sense of purpose. The more we renew these types of energy, the better we perform. And the less we renew these types of energies, the worse we perform, the more mistakes we make, so on. So we're going to learn practices that will help us to renew your energy as well as manage your time. But first, let's take a look and find out how you're doing with managing your time and energy. On your worksheet, you can take a quiz to see how you're doing with these two issues. Please answer true or false to the following statements. So if you need more time to complete this exercise, please press pause now. If you found that you answered false to many of the statements for energy, then you'll benefit from these energy-enhancing practices as well as time management techniques. So let's start with energy. These are a few ways you can maintain good levels of physical and mental energy throughout the day. We cannot keep our energy up without food or sleep or exercise, and yet many of us do not sleep enough. We tend to skip breakfast and maybe lunch, and we try to move our bodies as little as possible, like taking the elevator instead of the stairs or driving around the parking lot for the closest parking space. While these are common practices, they do very little to help you maintain your energy throughout the day. Exercise regularly helps you to maintain your energy, combat fatigue, improve sleep, and it also reduces stress, which will make your time spent at home and work more enjoyable. In general, it's recommended that you should exercise 120 to 150 minutes per week. And for those of you who haven't exercised in a while, 10 minutes a day of light cardio exercise such as walking is a great place to start. Sleeping on any given day, about 30% of the workforce do not get enough sleep. Getting adequate sleep is crucial to maintaining three types of energy: physical, emotional, and mental energy. Sleep supports your physical health by repairing your heart, regulating your appetite and blood sugars, and fighting off colds. Sleep helps with safety, and you're less likely to get into accidents and make unethical decisions if you get enough rest. The best question to ask yourself is, do I feel rested when I wake up? And if the answer is no, then it's important to speak with your doctor and get tips on how to get a more restful sleep. The National Sleep Foundation has some great tips. So, for example, they recommend if you have trouble falling asleep, then create a relaxing bedtime ritual. Or if you're a light sleeper, then try a white noise machine. For nutrition, it's helpful to think of food as fuel or energy. Food provides fuel to the body throughout the day. Food helps you feel better mentally and physically by providing energy, preventing cravings, and maintaining your mood. When you skip meals, your blood sugar crashes, which affects your concentration and your mood. And in order to keep your blood sugar up, it's recommended that you do not go more than 3 to 4 hours without some type of food or protein snack. It's also important to take our breaks. We are not computers, and our bodies need to rest to renew our energy. We need to take small mental breaks throughout the day and longer breaks like vacations to recharge. The 90-10 rule is based on our body's natural cycle for concentration and productivity. After 90 minutes, our bodies get tired and need to take a small 10-minute mental break. So if you're working on a project, set an alarm to remind you to stand up, stretch your legs, grab a cup of coffee or tea, and then get back to work. You will be in rhythm with your natural cycle, and in the end, you will be more productive. In terms of vacations, vacations are also important for us to recharge. And did you know that Americans lead in unused vacation time, with 40% of our vacation time going unused? We also lead in being most stressed in our workforce. So remember to keep your energy up. You do need to take your vacation in order to recharge and replenish. Now, time management. For those of you who answered false to many of the time management statements, we have tips on how to be more deliberate with your time. These time management practices come from a subset of the population who instinctively know how to balance work and family. So here's what they do differently than the rest of us. At the beginning of the week, say on a Sunday, they take about 10 to 20 minutes to plan their week. They use a calendar that combines both their personal and their work to-do lists. And by doing this, they get a complete picture of their week. They also use a priority system, which differentiates a task from a priority in their calendar. They take 5 minutes each morning to adjust their priorities based on how the events of the week are going. And they also tend to prioritize anything that will enhance their relationships with people who are important to them. Those of you familiar with positive psychology will recognize this habit. At the end of the week or at the end of their day, they take time to celebrate what they've accomplished rather than beat themselves up for not doing everything on their to-do list. So now that we are aware of practices on how to renew our energy and manage our time more efficiently, let's find out what work-life researchers have discovered about having a better quality of life. What is the most consistent predictor that a person is satisfied with their quality of life? So what is the most consistent predictor? Is it money, paid time off, education, career, home ownership, or meaningful relationships? So as you might have guessed, meaningful relationships is the correct answer. Meaningful relationships, it can be a friend, a child, a family, a spouse, a partner, even pets. Also, researchers have found that our ability to cope with stress is tied to having meaningful relationships and a quality support system. So here's a hint. In your calendar, any entry that supports meaningful relationships should be marked with a P for priority. Because today's world is so busy and we are constantly trying to catch up, what can happen is we get out of sync with what is important to us or what matters to us. The next exercise will help you to get back in touch with your priorities. So pull up worksheet number 3 and take a minute to fill this section out. If you require more time to complete this exercise, you can press pause now. So upon reflection of completing this exercise, what most people notice is that they're spending a lot of time on things that do not matter to them and do not bring a great deal of satisfaction in their lives. We're going to show you how to take small steps so you can do more of what matters to you and less of what doesn't. So once you have clarified your priorities, you can follow these steps to get back in touch with what's important to you. The first step is generate a work-life snapshot. This involves you writing down your work, tasks, and priorities, as well as your personal life tasks and priorities. This will help you to get a complete snapshot of your life as a whole and not as separate components. This may seem overwhelming, but you are already doing this. It's all in your head, and you just need to put it down on paper. Communicate and collaborate. To get a full picture, it is also important to talk with the key people in your life and find out what really matters to them, and share with them what really matters to you. This may seem a little scary, but let me share a story about what can happen if you take the time to do this. I was working with a mother who did this exercise with her daughter. The mother was juggling all the things that parents juggle: her job, taking care of kids, her husband, cooking, getting the kids to school, baking cupcakes for the school bake sales, chaperoning other things, and trying to get to all of her daughter's soccer games. The mother was really struggling to find time to do all of these things. After talking to her daughter about what really mattered to her, the daughter said, "Mom, I don't care if you do the bake sale for the school, and I don't care if you chaperone the dance, but what matters to me, what really matters, is that I see you at my soccer games." So this is a perfect illustration of how talking to the people you care about can help you to determine how you prioritize things. Before this talk between the mother and daughter, the mom thought she had to do it all. But after the talk, she knew that soccer games are what held the most meaning for her daughter, and now the mother can better figure out where to focus her time and energy. Once you get that complete picture, you can move on to step 2. In the second step, getting organized by selecting a calendar that combines your work and personal life. It can be a calendar that you're comfortable with. It can be a calendar on your computer, your phone. It could be a paper calendar or a planner. It's just important that you feel comfortable with it. If you prefer calendars that can sync between your computer and your phone, Google Calendar and Microsoft Office allow you to share your work calendar while keeping your personal calendar private. And once you have the calendar system picked out, you can prioritize your to-do list. Remember to keep it simple, using P for priority or T for tasks. An example of a task would be going grocery shopping on a Tuesday night. An example of a priority could be call my sister on Saturday morning, or spend 10 minutes of quality time with my kids daily. Whatever system you choose, remember to keep it simple. The third step, which is set goals and take action. So remember to define success. We all have different priorities, so it's important to take a minute and think to yourself, how will I know if this is working? Success will look differently to all of us, but here are some common ways you will know that what you are doing is working. If you find you are doing more of what is important to you and your family, if you find that you're feeling more satisfied, you're able to focus on your successes rather than what you didn't accomplish, then you're headed in the right direction. Select priorities. Start with a couple of goals and take action. Remember, keep it simple. No more than 3 to 5 goals. You do not want to overwhelm yourself and get discouraged. As you build success with meeting each goal, you can add more. Review and revise. It's important to check in with yourself and see which goals are working and which goals need to be adjusted. Most people find that if they select 3 goals, one of the goals works really well, one's a total failure, and the other half worked. So it's important to stay focused on the solutions and not the problems. And celebrate successes. This is a very simple but very important skill. So be mindful of your successes. Don't allow yourself to get discouraged. And if you catch yourself doing this, having negative thoughts about getting everything done, remember to turn your thinking, to shift your negative thinking to the positive. It's okay to allow yourself to feel good for accomplishing what you accomplished. This type of positive thinking can be learned. You just need to exercise that part of your brain, and eventually it will become a habit. So it's It's very common to get excited about skillfully creating more work-life balance, but it's also just as easy to get overwhelmed. So we've made that simple for you by supplying a checklist of the most common areas people want to make small adjustments. So please see the handout, Ideas for Increasing Work-Life Balance. Take a few minutes and select 3 to 5 that you'd like to make over the next week. If you don't have a copy of this worksheet, you can contact Coastline EAP and we'll be able to get you a copy of this. Now, if you need more time to complete this exercise, just press pause now. So let me show you how simple these adjustments can be. So for wellness ideas, people often think they need to make large changes, but keeping it simple and manageable looks like this. So of these wellness ideas, remember, you're not doing all of them, you're just selecting a couple. And so here's an idea. Here's a popular renewal idea. You can check off that you're going to eat every 3 to 4 hours to keep your energy up through the day. You could make grocery shopping an appointment in your calendar. Practice a relaxing bedtime ritual that will help you to unwind and prepare for sleep. Research a type of exercise that will be a good fit for your lifestyle, and research and plan a vacation. So remember, just select a couple, and you don't have to use any of these ideas, or you can select some of them. Now for caregiver ideas, this is for those of you with aging parents. One of the things that you can do is start a conversation with your parents about their needs. What do they want? You can create a binder with your parents' medical diagnosis, doctors, medications, insurance information, and other important documents. You can connect with a caregiver support group if you're already caregiving and feeling a little overwhelmed. Or you can call a family meeting with your siblings and your parents and get everybody on the same page about making decisions. And for those of you with children, here are some ideas. So you can spend 10-20 minutes a day with your child doing something they want to do. You can connect with your family over dinner several times per week. With your teenagers, try focusing on the positive by letting your teen know when they did something right. And the other thing you can do is find out what's important to your child and make time to attend those events, the things that are important to them. Prioritize them in your calendar. So key points to remember. We're coming to the end of the training, and I want to review with you some key ideas that we talked about today. A couple of ways to get better work-life balance would be to replenish your energy with food, exercise, sleep, and of course, remember to take breaks and vacations. You can better manage your time by using a calendar that combines your work and your personal life. You can better manage your time and energy. It's essential to get in touch with your values by prioritizing what is the most important to you. And of course, since meaningful relationships help us to manage stress and increase our overall satisfaction with life, make time for your family and friends. So thank you for attending. I hope you all have a better understanding of how to find more work-life balance. I'd like to remind you that you or your family members can call a Coastline EAP for confidential consultations or support. Our services can help you with finding reliable resources and referrals for issues related to personal and workplace stress, financial worries, legal matters, or finding a variety of child care and elder care services. And that concludes our training for today. Thank you and be well.